Good evening, everyone. I'm Kubrali, and you're watching Awaz News. Tonight, I'll be taking you to top news across Canada.
Police investigating bomb threats at 2 GTA schools. Ontario passes housing bill amid criticism from city's conservation authorities. Union Station open outdoor ice rink for holiday season. Toronto subway station evacuated following bomb threat. Women rushed to hospital after fire at Hamilton high-rise. Emergencies Act inquiry studies fundamental rights and freedoms at stake in protests. Pedestrian dies after being struck by vehicle in Brampton. Police.
These were the headlines, and now let's go through the details.
The Toronto Police Service investigated 2 bomb threats made against separate public schools in Greater Toronto Area Monday afternoon. According to police, the first threat was made against Islington Junior Middle School located on Cordova Avenue at approximately 12:40 p.m. Police announced the school had been cleared and no injuries were reported. The second threat was made against Brewerley Middle School located on 4050 Brewer Street West in Etobicoke. The scene has also since been cleared. Police say no injuries were reported. At this time, it's unclear if there is any connection between the 2 threats. Ontario passed a housing bill Monday intended to spur development, but critics say it will lead to higher property taxes, weaken conservation authority powers, and not actually make homes more affordable. The new law is just one move among many in a flurry of recent housing changes from the progressive conservative government, including plans to open some areas of the protected Greenbelt land to development and allowing the mayors of Toronto and Ottawa to pass bylaws with just 1/3 council support. Premier Doug Ford's housing push comes as the government attempts to get 1.5 million homes built in 10 years, while high inflation and interest rates force the province to revise projections for housing starts downward. Ontario expects to build fewer than 80,000 new homes a year in the next couple of years. Municipal Affairs and Housing Minister Steve Clark said Ontario is facing a severe housing crisis and it requires bold solutions. One of the most controversial aspects of the bill is freezing, reducing, and exempting fees developers pay to build affordable housing, non-profit housing, and inclusionary zoning units, meaning affordable housing in new developments as well as some rental units. Those fees go to municipalities and are then used to pay for services to support new homes, such as road and sewer infrastructure and community centers. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario has said the changes could leave municipalities short $5 billion and see taxpayers footing the bill either in the form of higher property taxes or service cuts. And there is nothing in the bill that would guarantee improved housing affordability. The bill also limits the areas conservation authorities can consider in development permissions, removing factors such as pollution and conservation of land. A Toronto subway station was evacuated Monday morning after police said they were made aware of a bomb threat. Police say they received a report of bomb threat made against Pioneer Village subway station near Steeles Avenue West just after 9 a.m. The station has been evacuated and there is currently no service on Line 1 between Vaughan and Lawrence West. At approximately 10:30 a.m., the Toronto Transit Commission announced that the station had been cleared and service had resumed. A woman was taken to hospital without vital signs following a fire at an apartment building in Hamilton overnight. Emergency crews were called to the building on Huxton Street shortly before 12:30 a.m. for a fire on the 12th floor, Hamilton Fire said. Firefighters were able to contain the blaze to the single unit. Hamilton police said an adult female was taken to hospital without vital signs. There was no update on her condition early Monday. One other person suffered a minor injury in the fire. There is no word so far on how the fire started. Ontario's Office of the Fire Marshal has been called in to investigate. Streets in the area were closed but have since reopened. The inquiry into the Liberal government's historic choice to invoke the Emergencies Act to quell weeks-long demonstrations against COVID-19 mandates last winter is now moving into its public policy phase. The Public Order Emergency Commission is expected to hear this week from about 50 experts who will share their perspectives on use of Emergencies Act, including whether it needs updating. A session this morning will focus on fundamental rights and freedoms at stake in public protests, as well as their limits, while an afternoon session will explore financial governance, policing, and intelligence. Other topics to be discussed this week include cryptocurrency, international supply chains, and criminal law, with discussions largely driven by policy papers the inquiry commissioned earlier this year. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act on February 14 after thousands of protesters associated with Freedom Convoy blockaded downtown Ottawa and key border crossings. Calling a public inquiry is a requirement under the emergency legislation, and Justice Paul Ruler, the commissioner of the inquiry, must submit this report to Parliament by February 20th, 2023. The policy phase follows 6 weeks of public hearings at the Library and Archives Canada building in downtown Ottawa, culminating in Trudeau's hours-long testimony on Friday. One of 2 pedestrians struck by vehicle in Brampton Sunday morning has died, according to Peel Police. Emergency crews were called to scene near Airport Road and Brighton Boulevard at 11:21 a.m. Peel paramedics initially told CP24 that both pedestrians were transported to a local hospital, one in life-threatening condition and one in serious condition. In a tweet published a short time later, Peel Police said the female victim had been pronounced deceased and the male has non-life-threatening injuries. Police said the vehicle involved in collision remained on the scene. Constable Donna Carlson told reporters at the scene that the driver was attempting to make a left-hand turn at the intersection before her vehicle collided with pedestrians. Our Major Collision Bureau and our Forensic Identification Service is on the scene. They are processing it and they will be continuing with their investigation, Carlson said, adding that it's too early to say what charges, if any, may be laid. Carlson added that the intersection is expected to be closed for several hours as a result. Police are asking anyone who may have witnessed the incident to contact them or Crime Stoppers.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, good night.